Have you ever opened your fridge, reached in for a tomato, or maybe a slice of bread, and thought to yourself, is this even supposed to be in here? You're not alone. And let me tell you, this little everyday moment, so easy to overlook, could be way more important than you think. Now imagine this. You're standing in your kitchen, maybe it's early in the morning, maybe you've just brewed a cup of coffee. You reach into the fridge to grab something for breakfast. You see that tomato you tossed in there last week, the bread you stuck in the back corner so it wouldn't go stale, and you think, well, that's just how we've always done it, right? But here's the thing nobody ever told you. Some of the most common foods we put in the fridge are slowly losing their flavor, their nutrients, and in some cases, even becoming unsafe to eat. And the worst part? You've probably been doing it for years, without ever realizing it. Look, if you're over 60, or caring for someone who is, you already know how delicate things become. The way our bodies handle food isn't the same. Our digestion slows down. Our immune system isn't quite what it used to be. So what used to be just a bad habit could now be a recipe for stomach trouble, nutrient deficiencies, or worse. And I get it. It's confusing. Because for decades, we've been told to keep it in the fridge so it lasts longer. But did anyone ever stop to ask, is that actually safe? Well, in today's video, we're finally clearing the air. I'm going to show you 3 everyday foods that seniors should never refrigerate. Foods that actually get worse, less nutritious, and in some cases, even harmful when they're kept cold. And then, just as important, I'll share 3 foods you absolutely must keep refrigerated if you want to avoid bacterial growth, spoiled nutrients, or even potential illness. Trust me, these are not your average food tips. These are practical, senior-focused, health-preserving choices that could make a real difference in how you feel every day. So, before you go tossing another potato or jar of mayo into the fridge, stick around. Comment guilty below if you've ever put tomatoes or bread in the fridge. No judgment, we've all been there. And if you're serious about safe, healthy eating in your golden years, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. You're watching Healthy Senior Advice, and today, we're opening the fridge and setting the record straight. Let's start with a big one, tomatoes. Imagine this for a moment. You come home from the farmer's market, your reusable bag filled with bright red, sun-warmed tomatoes. You slice one open, and it's bursting with flavor. Sweet, tangy, juicy. Just the way a tomato should be. Now fast forward a few days. You open the fridge, grab a tomato you stored, just to keep it fresh. And when you bite into it, it's cold, grainy, tasteless. Almost like chewing on a watery sponge. Sound familiar? Here's what's really going on. When you put tomatoes in the refrigerator, the cold air messes with their internal chemistry. The enzymes that create their rich flavor, they start to shut down. On top of that, the cold damages the tomato cell walls, so instead of staying firm and juicy, they turn mealy and dull. And it's not just about taste, it's about nutrition, too. Cold temps can lower the levels of certain antioxidants found in tomatoes, like lycopene, which supports heart health and may even help reduce cancer risk. But here's the kicker. Most people think refrigerating tomatoes makes them last longer. And yes, they might rot slower. But what's the point if they're flavorless and nutritionally weaker? So, here's what to do instead. Keep ripe tomatoes on your counter, away from direct sunlight. Let them breathe. Eat them within a few days for peak taste and nutrition. And if 1 or 2 start getting too soft, don't toss them, use them in a quick pasta sauce or soup. Once they're cooked, that texture issue disappears. Alright, but tomatoes aren't the only victims of cold confusion. Let's talk about another common food that's often wrongly tossed in the fridge: bread. Picture this. You just brought home a fresh loaf from your favorite bakery. Maybe it's a crusty sourdough or a soft multi-grain. You want it to last, so you think, let me just stick it in the fridge, that'll keep it fresh. But 2 days later, you reach for a slice and it's dry, stiff, and completely lost that delicious chew. What happened? Well, bread and the fridge are not friends. There's a science-why word for it: retrogradation. Basically, the starches in bread start to crystallize and harden way faster when they're cold. The result? Stale bread, even if it's not technically expired. It's a mistake nearly everyone makes. We think we're preserving it, but unless your kitchen is hot and humid and your bread is super moist, the fridge is the worst place for it. So, what should you do instead? Store your bread at room temperature, in a cool, dry place. A bread box works great. If you know you won't finish it within a few days, slice it up and freeze it. Then, just toast a piece whenever you want, fresh and warm like the day you bought it. Alright, we've done tomatoes and bread. But this next one, this is one even health-conscious seniors get wrong all the time. Let's talk about potatoes. You've probably done this before. You walk into the kitchen, and the pantry feels a little warm. Maybe it's summer. You don't want your potatoes to sprout or spoil, so, thinking it's safer, you toss them into the fridge. A few days later, you go to cook dinner. You peel a potato and notice a greenish tinge under the skin. You cook it anyway. And the taste? Weirdly sweet. Maybe even bitter. Here's why. When potatoes are stored in cold temperatures, their natural starches turn into sugar. That's why they taste sweeter. But here's the real concern. When you cook cold-stored potatoes, especially if you fry or roast them, those extra sugars can form a chemical called acrylamide. And acrylamide has been linked to certain health risks, including possible cancer concerns. Now, that doesn't mean a single potato will hurt you. But over time, especially for seniors with sensitive systems, it's just not a risk worth taking. So here's the better way. Keep potatoes in a cool, dark, well-ventilated area. Think a paper bag in a lower kitchen cabinet. Something away from the stove and direct sunlight. Not too cold, not too warm. Just right. So, we've talked about what not to refrigerate. 3 everyday foods you're probably storing wrong without even realizing it. But now it's time to flip the switch. Let's talk about the opposite. The foods you absolutely must refrigerate, especially if you're over 60. Because some things do belong in the fridge. And keeping them out can lead to food poisoning, lost nutrients, or even serious health risks. Let's start with one of the healthiest foods you can eat, leafy greens. Now, tell me if this has ever happened to you. You grab a bag of spinach or a bunch of romaine, set it on the counter because you're planning to use it for lunch, maybe a salad or a smoothie. But life gets in the way. You forget. The next morning, you go to pick it up, and what do you find? A slimy, wilted mess that smells like something you'd never want to eat. Gross, right? But here's the real concern. It's not just unpleasant. It can be dangerous. Leafy greens like spinach, lettuce, arugula. They're packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals seniors need. But they're also very fragile. At room temperature, bacteria like E. coli and salmonella can grow rapidly on their damp surfaces, especially if there's even a tiny tear or bruise on the leaf. And for seniors, even a mild case of food poisoning can quickly turn into dehydration or a hospital visit. Some folks think that keeping greens out keeps them crisp. But the truth is, any crispness you gain is short-lived, and you're sacrificing safety. So here's what to do. Store your greens in the fridge, ideally in the produce drawer where humidity is controlled. Place them in a sealed bag or container, and here's a trick. Add a paper towel inside to absorb excess moisture. That helps prevent wilting and slime, and keeps your greens fresher, longer. Now, let's move to something that causes a lot of confusion. Eggs. You may have seen travel shows or friends in Europe keeping their eggs on the counter, and you might wonder, why do we need to refrigerate them in the US? Great question. In the US, eggs are washed and sanitized before they reach the grocery store. That process removes bacteria, but it also strips away the egg's natural protective coating. Without that coating, the eggshell becomes porous, and that means bacteria like salmonella can sneak in and grow quickly unless the eggs are kept cold. That's why, in the US, refrigeration isn't just smart, it's essential. And if you're over 60 or have a compromised immune system, the risk is even higher. A single contaminated egg could lead to days of nausea, fever, or worse. Now here's something most people don't realize. Don't store eggs in the fridge door. Why? Because every time the door opens, the temperature fluctuates, and eggs need consistent cold to stay safe. Instead, place your carton in the back of the fridge, the coldest spot. Alright, now let's talk about something that hides in plain sight, Condiments. Picture this. You've just made a sandwich. You squeeze out a little mayo or spread on some creamy dressing, screw the lid back on, and leave it on the table. No big deal, right? Well, maybe not. You see, condiments like mayonnaise, creamy salad dressings, and spreads like aioli often contain eggs, dairy, or fresh ingredients. Before they're opened, they're shelf-stable, thanks to preservatives and vacuum-sealed packaging. But once you break that seal, the clock starts ticking. And here's the thing. If you're not refrigerating them after opening, especially in warmer weather, you're creating the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. And again, for seniors, even a tiny amount of spoiled food can lead to nausea, cramps, or even something more serious. It's an easy mistake to make. We think, it was on the shelf at the store, so it must be fine here. But the difference is, that bottle was sealed, and your kitchen isn't a factory. So, what's the best move? Simple, read the label. Most condiments with eggs or dairy will clearly say, refrigerate after opening. Don't take a chance. Pop them into the fridge right away, and store them on a middle shelf where the temperature stays steady. So now you've got the full picture. It's not just about whether something fits in the fridge. It's about whether it belongs there, for your safety, your health, and your peace of mind. Because when it comes to eating well after 60, even the small habits, like where you store your food, can make a big difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just a tomato. It's just a bottle of mayo. What's the big deal? But here's the truth, especially for seniors, these little decisions matter more than you think. What seems like a small mistake in food storage can lead to a stomach ache at best, or a serious health scare at worst. And I've seen it firsthand. One overlooked potato left too cold. One forgotten jar of dressing left out overnight. It doesn't always take much for bacteria to grow or nutrients to break down. And for those of us in our 60s, 70s, or beyond, our bodies can't bounce back the way they used to. A simple slip in the kitchen can mean days of discomfort, or even a trip to the ER. But let's pause for a moment here, because this isn't about fear. This isn't about making you feel anxious every time you open your fridge. This is about empowerment. When you understand which foods need the fridge and which ones don't, you're not just organizing your kitchen. You're taking control of your health. You're protecting your body. You're giving yourself and your loved ones peace of mind every time you sit down to eat. That's powerful. And it's something anyone can do, starting today. So here's what I encourage you to do next. After this video ends, take a short walk over to your fridge. Open the door. Take a slow look. What's in there that doesn't belong? Is your bread hiding in the back, drying out? Are your potatoes chilling next to the milk? Is that jar of mayo sitting out on the counter, waiting for lunch? It's okay. We've all done it. But today, you can fix it. It only takes a few minutes. Because this isn't about perfection. It's about small steps that add up to a safer, healthier life. Just start with the 6 foods we talked about today. No need to reorganize your whole kitchen or throw everything out. Just a few smart changes, and before you know it, these habits will become second nature. And here's the best part. You're not doing this alone. You're part of a community of caring people who are learning and growing. Right here, with us, on Healthy Senior Advice. We're in this together. Step by step. Meal by meal. Day by day. And remember, every little change you make, that's a gift to your future self. So, let's bring it all home. To recap what we covered today, here's what you need to remember. 3 foods you should never refrigerate. Tomatoes, because cold kills their flavor and texture. Bread, because the fridge makes it go stale faster. Potatoes, because the cold turns their starch into sugar, which can lead to unhealthy compounds when cooked. And the 3 foods you must keep cold. Leafy greens, because they spoil fast and can grow harmful bacteria at room temperature. Eggs, because in the US, they're washed and need to stay chilled to avoid salmonella. And opened condiments with dairy or eggs, like mayo or creamy dressings, which can go bad quickly and quietly if left out. 6 everyday foods. 6 small changes. But they can make a big difference. especially in your golden years when your immune system might not be as strong as it used to be. Now I want to hear from you. Which one surprised you the most? Was it the potatoes? The mayo? Or maybe you've got a food you're still unsure about? Something sitting in your fridge right now that you're second-guessing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Really, I read every single one. This community is about learning together. And chances are, if you've got a question, someone else out there is wondering the same thing. And hey, if this video helped you avoid a mistake you didn't even know you were making, if you found yourself nodding along or thinking, "Oops, I've been doing that," give this video a like. It lets me know I'm creating content that's making a difference in your daily life. And don't forget to subscribe to Healthy Senior Advice. Because that's what we do here. We share simple, safe, and practical tips that actually matter to seniors and the people who care for them. We're not here for gimmicks. We're here for you. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join our growing community of wise, compassionate people who want to age with confidence and clarity. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. It means a lot. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and take good care of yourself. I'll see you soon, right here on Healthy Senior Advice.